and it would come down again, and it would do it again. And it has a range of 220 miles. So you're talking about something which is directly competitive now with fossil fuels. Once you've got the infrastructure for recharging, because you don't want to get to 220 miles and then have to plug it in and sit there having.
So how would you cope with that? Well, how would you fill up?
Well, I think the way that's going to happen is that you're going to just swap batteries, which can be done automatically, and it will take a similar amount of time to refueling, probably less in fact. And then the battery that you leave there, so you won't own the batteries will be leased, and you'll put the battery then to be recharged overnight through wind or, the good thing about batteries is that they don't have to be recharged at any single point in time. You can then recharge them when your intermittent renewables are actually delivering their most power.
Right, and which country do you think is going to develop this network of battery changing of private transport first?
At the moment, there's just been an agreement, in fact, between the Israeli government and a couple of private entrepreneurs to do this in that country, in Israel, and Denmark has also just signed an agreement. So these are the two, and the automotive partner in that is Renault, who are going to be making the zero-emission electric cars. And the theory is, and the people who are behind this suggest that there is a tipping point when enough people on the roads are driving electric vehicles, then the change happens pretty rapidly.
Well, we've seen that tipping point on things like unleaded petrol, haven't we? You build up to a certain amount, and then everybody goes over to it.
Yes, and then once everyone's gone over to it, then the other one just ceases to exist.
Yes.
And the government regulates it out of existence. You do have the two competing against each other for a while. I mean, the big driver in all this isn't regulation on climate change, which has been sadly lacking. It's been the massive rises in oil price. That's also what's driven renewables around the world. Renewables have been increasing hugely, and that's because of the rising oil price, which has then made fossil fuels that much more expensive, and therefore made renewables a lot more competitive. And the same kinds of things are going to be happening on the road transport sector as well.
Yeah, and so you're recommending that people put their money into stocks and shares in renewables?
Yes, I mean, I'm not a rich person, but the small amounts of money that I've been saving up, because if you're looking at rates of growth for some of these companies of 200–300% in 2 or 3 years, if you can continue that, I mean, yes, I'm sure there's a bubble which will